Oh my goodness, we're live. Okay. Hey, everybody. Woo! Welcome to Educational Moments with Dr. Naita. I am so glad you are here this evening. Yes. And as always, I'm here and you're here. So we're here and we're going to have a great time. Look, I have an exciting show planned for this evening. I am so excited. I have this incredible NCAA coach here tonight. And he is one of Duval County's own. So I know Duval is going to show up tonight. So look, I want you, this show is dedicated to middle school athletes, high school athletes, and even college athletes. And if you're a parent of a middle school, high school, or college athlete, you don't want to miss this show. So look, tag somebody, share this stream, let someone know that this show is for our athletes tonight. So please tag somebody and we're going to be right back. All righty. So, without further ado, I am bringing to the stage, front and center, an awesome coach, an awesome young man, and as quiet as it's kept, I know he thinks he is the dancingest NCAA coach in the nation. So, let's just peek in on some of the things that he is involved in. I'm not, please let this work. Please let this work. There we go. Here we go. Let's see. Let's see what's going on. Let's see. Hey! Burn away our carbon beam, knock your legs off. Try to get away from me. Yes! That is none other than yes, that is none other than Coach Anderson. Yes. Welcome. I'm so excited and happy that you are here this evening. How are you, Coach?
I am wonderful. How are you? Thank you for having me on your show. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, look, I know that high school athletes, middle school athletes, they have questions, and even there are people out there who are coaching and they want to take their coaching to the next level. So before, we jump into, deep discussion, and I need to set up some things over here on Facebook. So will you go ahead and introduce yourself? Tell my audience who you are. Tell us a little bit about your current role and what you're doing.
Sure. My name's Kenny Anderson. I'm a graduate of Florida A&M University. I got my degree in electrical engineering from FAMU.
Yeah.
And right now, I am the head track and field coach at Central Methodist University in Missouri.
That is awesome. Well, look, let's just jump right in. If you have an engineering degree, how'd you end up becoming a track coach? How did that happen? How did you make that jump? What happened? How did this happen?
I get asked that question a lot. So really my senior year in college, I started volunteering at a YMCA, coaching basketball. And that's where my love for coaching came into play. After graduation, I worked in the field as an engineer for a couple of years up in Cincinnati, Ohio. And while I was up there, I started coaching middle school, high school, basketball, football, and track. And, my love for coaching just came into fruition there. Okay. And so I had an opportunity to coach basketball on the collegiate level
Oh, wow.
and so I took it.
Okay.
Nobody can ever take away my engineering degree, so I always have that to fall back on. So I took a chance and pursued coaching.
That is awesome. What an incredible story. What an incredible journey. So in so you ran track in high school, college, or what did you
I,
do? What was your
I
sport?
played basketball and ran track in high school. I
Mhm.
went to FAMU to run track, but then got up there and uh, didn't do what I was supposed to do. Uh,
Okay, you got
and
on
so
the seven wheels.
I went on an academic scholarship, and my first semester I kind of partied too much, and my dad told me if you lose your scholarship, you coming home. So I
Okay.
had to make a decision, and I just kind of focused on my grades and just gave up my athletic career.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Very good. Thanks for sharing. I never knew that your degree was in the engineering. I never knew that. That is awesome. So you've taught high school. I mean, you've coached high school. Okay. You've coached middle school and now college. Aside from age, is there a big difference? What's the big difference? What are the needs like?
Um, the biggest difference is the skill level, obviously, and just other than that, nothing really. At the collegiate level, it's still the basics, the fundamentals are very important. Paying attention to the small details. I just think the learning age is a little bit different, so now you can get into a little bit more detail as they grow and mature.
Right, right. So do you like one over the other? Or-
Honestly, I like the collegiate level more just because the athletes that you get here, they want to be here for the most part.
Oh,
They want to run, they want to pursue a career, some sorts in athletics most of the time. So
mhm,
their dedication and commitment level is a little bit different versus coaching at the middle school level where they just kind of learning sports. The high
mhm,
school level, you really don't know what you want to do yet.
mhm.
So the collegiate athletes are a little bit more dedicated to what it takes to take it to the next level.
Okay, okay. And then I know the parental involvement, it would be definitely different from the middle, high school, and collegiate level.
For sure. So at this level, there's not any parental involvement. So
Wow.
I don't deal with parents other than the recruiting process. I don't really
Mhm,
deal with parents. Middle school, it's all parents. High school, you definitely have some parent involvement.
mhm,
But at this level, they're adults now,
mhm.
so we move as such.
Well, as quiet as it's kept, I know you will never meet parents like Miss Monique and Dr.
and
Nate.
you, and you, for sure, the greatest parents in the world. So sidebar, if the viewers do not know, Dr. Nate Ida was one of my travel buddies when we used to travel coach AAU when I used to coach AAU track. So I coached her daughter Nia, who's
Mhm.
now at the University of South Florida, the nursing program, doing well down there. So she was one of my former athletes, and so our road trips were A1.
They were awesome. We used to have a ball. We used to. Monique would ride shotgun in the van, and then I was gunner because I was on the floor. But we used to have a good time. Oh, and the music battles and stuff.
For
We used to
sure.
have a good,
For
good
sure.
time. All righty. So, what are some of your fondest memories or your greatest accomplishments as a coach? What do you know when you sit back and be like, wow, I did that, or what are you most proud of?
I think that for me, it's helping athletes get to the next level. So whatever that is, if it's the high school athletes getting a scholarship to college, that's probably my biggest achievement and what I'm mostly proud of is just helping young athletes get scholarships to continue their education, to continue their track career, and just do something they love to do.
Okay, very good, very good. All righty. Well, we got that kind of stuff out of the way, and people know who you are. They know they, look at you and they say, "What does that young man know about this?" No, you know some things. Okay,
I
we
know just a
established
little bit.
Yeah, we've established that. So now let's talk to our athletes and their parents. So, what should a middle school athlete really be focusing on at this time? They're somewhere between the sixth and the eighth grade, and their parents were athletes, or maybe they weren't, and they want to try any sport. What should they be focused on at the middle school level?
They should be doing as much as possible, trying any and everything. So if you have the opportunity to, play three sports or, get involved in as many activities as possible, do that. I think it's too early to start specializing. So, the athletes more so, if you could play basketball, if you could play football, if you can run track, or for the young ladies, if you could play volleyball, if you can cheer, play soccer, just be well rounded at that age, because at the end of the day, that's going to help you become a better athlete in the long run.
Very
So I,
good.
I just think that we get caught up in the social media. I have to be a specialist at the age of 11, age of 12. I have to be this prodigy. Now, just enjoy yourself. Just have fun at that age, and just experience as much as possible.
So you're talking to the athlete, talk to the middle school parent.
The parent, just let your child be a child at that point. They're not about to get an NBA contract at 12, or NFL contract at 12. Their bodies haven't developed yet. So just allow them to experience different things. Let them figure out what they want to do. Because if it's something that they want to do, then they're going to be passionate about it. We as adults, and I'm still fairly young, but we want, and I don't have any children either, but I see a lot of times that parents want their children to do or be what they couldn't be.
Uh-oh.
Uh, and so now I need you to be at this camp. I need you to do this, do this, do this, and do that. And they're not really having fun. They're
Mhm.
just doing it because you're telling them to do it.
Wow.
So I just let them choose, let them explore at that age, and just let them, you know, be around their friends and have fun.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So how does that differ when they get to high school?
I think, once you get to high school, you kind of have an idea of the direction you want to go in, especially by the 10th, 11th grade. So by that time, now you should start, focusing desire to compete at the next level, whatever sport it is. You should start working on, that skill set. And I still believe that in high school, you should be well rounded and
Mhm.
versatile, because that's going to help you at the next level anyway. But now you want to put some attention to, if it's basketball, you want to put some extra attention to basketball, or if it's football or track, make sure you're spending a little bit more time or focusing a little bit more effort into that specific event or specific sport. But still, I think that versatility makes or breaks you. If you specialize, or you get caught up in one specific thing, you're not getting the tools or the skills that could be useful for you later on down the line.
Absolutely. And you're not exposing yourself to the coaching styles of other coaches,
Agreed.
and you grow up and you're with one coach for 7 or 8 years, then you get to college and that coach doesn't coach like your coach, or that high school coach doesn't coach like your previous coach.
Right.
And now there's this great disconnect, and you haven't learned how to develop multiple relationships and sit under someone else's tutelage. So it does become a challenge. So I agree, especially at the middle school level, just let them have fun. Let them see what they like. Let them try fencing if your school offers that, let them try try any of it. Oh, you want to be in that club? Okay, let's do it. Just try it, because they're still exploring and trying to find out what exactly they do well. And
Right.
like you said, and then in high school, you need to kind of start focusing. So how important are club activities? Or when I say club, I'm talking about competing or participating in sports clubs outside of the regular season. So if it's football season, in the fall, How important is it to be a part of, continuing and doing some spring football with local clubs or something?
I think it's important if you find the right club or find the
Mm.
right organization to be in.
What is
And
that about?
I say that because you have some organizations or some clubs that are about self,
Mm.
or money makers. They use it as, revenue, mental income. I'll give you a prime example. Basketball is a big one
Hmm.
right now. So a lot of people play AAU basketball or summer basketball or club basketball. If you have a desire to compete and play basketball at the next level,
Hmm.
when you find a club, you need to find a club that puts you in front of college coaches. So if
Mm.
you're playing AAU basketball, but you never go to a tournament or you never are put in a position to showcase your talent, then really you're just playing, local rec ball, or you're just spending money to go travel, and you're defeating the purpose. So I say you have to do your research and find an organization, find a club that is promoting their athletes. They're putting their athletes in a position to be successful. They're putting their athletes in a position to be seen by college coaches, especially for the ones who want to compete at the collegiate level. So I think it's important. I think it's very important. And I also think that communication is very, very important, because you have a lot of time. You see a lot of times where you'll have the high school program and the club program competing against each other. You know, my club coach says I need to be at practice, but I'm in high school season. So that's another thing to think about. Communication is key, and just finding the right program, and finding people that will help you, put you in a position to be successful and be seen.
Wow. So I put on the note, if NCAA is the goal, find clubs that promote their athletes and expose them to college recruiters.
Yes.
In addition to that, you talked about something very real that it only, I know for us, it only became an issue between the close of indoor season, which we don't have indoor season basically in high school in the state of Florida.
Right.
So at the close of indoor season, because we were traveling all around, all these different states and stuff, and the start of spring season.
Right.
So we had some little bumps there. So, like you said, communication was everything. Communication, communication, communication. Very good. So, I do know that there are lots of clubs, opportunities out there, but you hit the key things. You have to, parents, you have to do your research. That's up to you. That's not up to your kid, your child, because they're going to go where their friends are going.
Right.
And if you're spending this money and the kids are investing their time and their talent, then it needs to be for a good outcome, a program that promotes the athlete and exposes them to college recruiters. I love that. That was very good. Very good. So, at what point should athletes start reaching out to colleges? Or, of course, the big name, the phenoms, they recruiters are going to attack them. They just descend upon them. But for those who are just good athletes, good, well-rounded athletes, they're talented in the classroom, but they're not the superstar.
Hmm.
At what point should they start reaching out to coach, or what's that process like for them?
I think um, the end of your sophomore going into the junior year, that's when you start. That's where or when you want to get on a coach's radar. So, one of the things, and I'm going to speak specifically for track right now, is there's a mile split. So every college coach can see your times. Everybody, sees what's going on and what you can do. So as an 11th grader, before the season starts, this is my time. This is where I'm at GPA wise. if I have or have not taken the ACT or SAT, but that's going to look different now with, how COVID is, they're kind of waiving the test. So you don't really have to worry about that at the moment. But the beginning of your junior year, the end of your sophomore, beginning of the junior year, you want to start emailing coaches so you can be on their radar. They might not actively recruit you yet, but if you start reaching out, at least get on their mailing list or their call list, on their email blast list, um, they'll start to, pick up and know who you are um, fairly fast. So my suggestion is by the beginning of your junior year, just start reaching out, finding programs that, number one, have your major academically, and then two, I think this is important. If there was no sports at the university, would you
That part.
still want to go there?
Yes.
Because I see a lot of people, I just want to go for the sports team, but they don't like the school, or something happens, and
Or Coach Kenny, or the school doesn't even have their major.
yeah, that part too. That part too. They're just going for the name,
Hmm.
honestly. So
Hmm.
you got, when you start looking, look for places that, number one, have your major, and two, if there were no sports or sports were taken away, like this past year when they
Yes.
canceled, would you still want to be there?
Right. Absolutely. Great point. Great point. Great point. So look, I mean, I'm an educator and I love the term scholar athlete because and in that order. That is
Hmm.
because before you are an athlete, you are a scholar athlete. So how important is academics in the pursuit of your athletic dreams?
I think it's it's the most important thing. At some point in your career, whether football, basketball, track, whether you go to the Olympics, NFL, the NBA, at some point your career ends.
Hmm.
What are you going to do when that happens? Are you prepared? That's one thing that I tell athletes that I'm recruiting is, no matter if you have the opportunity to compete post collegiately, at some point you're going to want a family. At some point, you got to go out and get a job. And if you don't have the education, then like you stuck really. So um, the education piece for me is very, very important, um, because that's going to help you later on down in life. You're not going to be able to play a sport your entire life. So what are you going to do when that ends? And so
Absolutely.
we have to prepare for that now.
Absolutely. Now I could not agree more. You know, but let's talk about the elephant in the room. It wasn't on our list of questions, okay? But you have these schools, high schools that will slide an athlete through,
Hmm.
and slide them through grades, previously SAT, ACT scores, um, continue to play students who aren't really eligible, but some paperwork will go through so that it would seem like the student is eligible, you know,
Hmm.
and then they get to college and get hurt freshman year. Now what? Now what? And that's very real. That's very real. Do you have any comments about, these programs or the tragedy? Have you seen any?
I think, what happens, just like you said, they get to college and, they kind of get lost in the shuffle. Something doesn't go right, they get hurt, or the academics finally catches up to them, and then they're back home. You see them back home, just working, and they had so much potential. They were the athlete, they were this, they were that, and from my experience, from what I've seen, those athletes tend not to pan out because they've been kind of let loose, or were able to skate by, and it catches up to them. So
Yeah,
I just think it goes back to being a student athlete, scholar athlete first. Just making sure that's important, and just making sure your priorities are in order. Sports don't last forever. Your
right.
education does.
Right, absolutely. And I think that's the thing we need to drive home is that sports won't, your body will not allow you to compete at that level, forever. At
Right.
some point, you're going to have to rely on your brain to provide an income. And this is something that I see, especially in our inner city schools, and the entire community is behind the sports or the athleticism of an individual and let the development of the brain and the academics be an afterthought. And it's a
Mm.
tragedy. It's a tragedy. And we have to stop. We have to stop doing it to ourselves, to our community. We have to stop. So, look, once a college athlete gets to, scholar athlete gets to the campus, what do you think is the biggest challenge for them?
The biggest challenge is time management, number one. And then number two, like being out on your own. So now you don't have mom or dad or grandma or anybody checking up on you to make sure uh, you're doing your work, to make sure you're eating right,
Uh,
uh, to make sure you're sleeping right, or making sure like you're getting where you need to be. It's really on your own at that point. So that's the biggest adjustment. It didn't happen to me. You go out to college, you got this freedom, and you don't know what to do with it. Uh, so for me, from what I've seen, the freshmen have a big adjustment with time management and just kind of developing a routine and just trying to find their way.
Absolutely. I'm jotting this down because this is good. Time management, being on your own, eating well.
Yeah,
And
that's important.
it is because your body at the college level, you're working so hard and your body has to absorb and receive the right nutrients. That pizza diet is not going to get you the performance that you're trying to get to. So let's talk about that for a moment. What is a day like as a college athlete, a scholar athlete?
For us here, we lift in the morning. So the
So
ladies
wait
lift.
a minute. Let's go back. You said for us here, and here, okay, here is in Florida, and it was what 70 something degrees today. I had to turn on the AC because
Uh,
you know. So here, but here for you is
Missouri.
the
Um,
weather
so
was
today was warm,
uh,
and warm was 15,
15 what?
15 degrees.
Like outside.
Yeah, it was earlier in the week. It
You can
was
stop
negative.
playing.
It was -4 and snowing on Monday.
Oh, see, you took all the laughter right out off my face. No, no, no. I'm a Southern California girl who moved to Florida. Can't do it. All right. So you lift in the morning. What's morning? 12 o'clock?
Now 6 a.m. 6 a.m.
Woo! So at
And we
6 a.m., what was the weather at 6? Because surely it had warmed up to 15. So at 6 a.m., what was the
I was
weather
probably
like?
like 1 or 2. So it's cold. It's cold. It is cold.
So with 2-degree weather, your athletes in the dark,
In the dark, in the snow.
in the snow, your athletes are out lifting weights. Okay, so continue telling us about that day.
So the ladies lift at 6, the guys lift at 7. We lift for about 45 minutes each group, and then classes start at 8. So from 8 to 3:30, depending on your class schedule, you have classes throughout the day. You eat and you find time to study, or whatever you do. Again, it's the time management. You have your freedom. Um, we practice every day, Monday through Friday at 4. So from 4 to 5:30, 4 to 6, depending on the day. And then after that, we have study hall. And all freshmen have a mandatory 8 hours of study hall. And the only way you can get out of study hall is if you have a 3.0 at the end of the semester. And then as soon as you drop, if you get out and you drop under 3.0, then you go back in. So that's a typical day for us, track and field here at Central Methodist. Monday through Friday, we lift 3 days a week. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday morning. school, then practice, and we compete on the weekends.
Okay. Okay. So not a lot of time for partying, not a lot of time for just hanging out, doing nothing. Once you are on a sports team in college, it consumes your life.
Consumes, especially in season.
Mm.
You know, and coaches purposely, I know I do, 6 a.m.s on specific days because I know it's events going on. So I know if like you went out,
Okay.
you
I
dragging, you can't
would.
move. You can't move. But we do the 6 a.m.s for two reasons. One, for me, I feel like, when you lift in the morning, it gets your day started. You got to work out in, you're ready to go. And then two, when you get into the workforce, most jobs, like you have to get up in the morning. If you have a family, you got to take care of your family before you go to work. So if your body and your, routine is used to you getting up in the morning, once you get out of that collegiate realm or once you get into the real world, getting up is not a problem.
Yeah, it's not even a transition for you. You just the only difference is the clothing that you wear.
Yep,
So are you guys in classes? You guys have
we are.
face classes?
We
Oh,
are.
okay. That's cool. Okay, so then you guys aren't struggling too much with COVID.
No, we're right now with us. We are doing a pretty good job of mitigating and keeping everybody safe.
Mhm,
We do have the option of hybrid classes
mhm.
through Zoom, so you can be in class as well as Zoom with the professors. So, but for us right now, um, we're in class or face to face. All of our sports teams are in season, and we're doing well so far.
Okay, very good. That's good to hear. Well, I want to take a quick break because I want to shout out my sponsor for today. And our sponsor for today is Miss Christy Jones Bird, owner operator of Jones and Rose. You can visit Jones and Rose. It's located at the St. John's Town Center, and they create healthy skin and body care products that leave you smelling amazing. They are handcrafted using the best natural ingredients, and they really make a difference to the skin for men and for women. So, shout out to Christy Jones Bird for being our sponsor for today. And then, as always, please visit me on my website at www.drnaita.com. I'm going to get it out in a minute. And then you can also purchase my book, A Way Out: 10 Characteristics of Highly Successful Teens. So thank you for that commercial break. All righty. Well, Kenny, tell me this. Do you have any final comments or suggestions for parents or for students who are trying to make that transition to the next level?
Yes, I do have a few. So speaking in terms of track and field, we talked about how, looking for a university that number one has your major, number two, you like the environment and the social life, whatever you're looking for in a college. But three, if you're looking for an athletic scholarship, a lot of people look at, I want to run at Florida, I want to go to Florida State, I want to go to Georgia, or schools like that. Um, what'll help you is look at what the times are in their conference. Look at what kind of athletes those universities are getting and what kind of times those athletes are running. And so that will give you a gauge of where do you stand compared to them. So if you're looking for, a lot of people are looking for the full rise, they don't want to go into debt. So they're looking for the full scholarships. Well, if you're going to a place like Florida, Florida is competing for national championships and they're getting like, elite level,
Olympic level, right, right.
Olympic level athletes. So if you're expecting a full ride from Florida track wise, then you have to be on that level. So my advice is, there's a collegiate website It's www. I don't know if it's www, but it's tfrrs.org, tfrs.org. And you can see what every conference in America is running, the times in every conference. So if you are running times that are comparable to, a school's top runner, that will mean more scholarship money for you. So go and look for places, with your major, with, the type of environment or setting that you want to be in, but also where you can add something to the program. So if you can add something to that program, they're going to offer you more scholarship money. The more you can add, the more money you can get. So that's what we as collegiate coaches look for. Can we find somebody that can come in, that can contribute right away, can come help our program, who's not going to be a problem, and who's a versatile athlete? And if you are all of those things, then we're going to reward you with, scholarship money. So that's my biggest advice. Find programs to where you fit and where you can contribute.
Wow. That was good. I'm jotting down notes. I'm hoping parents are jotting down notes as well, but I am definitely jotting these notes down. But you want to look for programs where you fit in and contribute. Very good. I love it. I love it. Any special comments to any of the parents?
Parents, don't be afraid to reach out to coaches, but at the end of the day, the coaches want to talk to the kids.
Mm-hmm.
So parents, be involved in the recruiting process. Yes, that's important. But at the end of the day, when the kid gets to college, the coach is really not going to be as involved with you. All the communication is going to be with the student athlete. So in the recruiting process for me as a coach, yes, getting the parents involved, getting the parents' blessing, the parents need to feel comfortable with, you as a coach and, the program and everything. But at the end of the day, the kid has to make the decision and the kid has to be there. So let your child be in the forefront of the recruiting process.
Wow, very good, very good. So, what about the last category of people I want to talk to? What about those coaches out there, those middle school and high school coaches who want to take their game, who want to take it to the next level? What should they be doing?
I think networking is the biggest piece. Just getting out, meeting as many people as possible. Uh, with the social media age and era now, I think marketing, a brand or who you are, is important as well. I think what helped me in the jump from coaching high school to collegiate track is, branding the athletes that I work with. So a
Yes,
lot of
you
people
do.
knew, who the athletes, that I was coaching, and what they can do. And because we were traveling around, the South and all over the place, and we had a chance to meet a lot of people, that gave me an opportunity to meet a lot of coaches.
Absolutely.
So I when my seniors, when Nia and Monet graduated,
Yes, you did.
you know, I was looking for an opportunity to coach at the collegiate level. So because they were successful and I had met, so many people, I just reached out and, put myself out there. I'm just kind of looking for an opportunity to volunteer or just to get my foot in the door. So that's another big piece right there. Unless you are, you have some people that make the jump, straight from high school to a big time college job. But for the most part, you have to work your way in. Collegiate sports or collegiate coaching is like a fraternity. And, you have to get your foot in the door first. So if there's a volunteer opportunity or a graduate assistant opportunity, don't be afraid to take it. Because once you're in the door, it's easier to move up and progress. But you got to get your foot in first. So for me, a lot of people don't know, Johnson, when I accepted the position at Johnson C. Smith, I was a part-time assistant. So it wasn't a full-time job, and I wasn't making a lot of money. It wasn't glamorous, but it was an opportunity for me to break into coaching at the collegiate level and learn and get my foot in the door. And that turned into, it allowed me to grow and, get me to where I am right now.
Absolutely. So I'm glad you mentioned that. You mentioned so many things I want to touch on right there. First, I want to talk about. Well, let's start right there with you took a part-time position, okay? But let's just be real. You took this part-time position, but you still had full-time bills.
Bills. Hmm.
So because, come on now, because you had that education already in hand, you could pick a job that was flexible. You could pick a flexible job so that you could pay your bills and still do what you love while waiting on the door to open. But you could not have done that had you
Without an
not
education.
had what you saying. Come on now. Come on. Very good. Very good. So I wanted to bring that up. And then secondly, I want to say that because I don't think you tooted your horn enough when the girls, and when I'm saying the girls, I'm referring to my daughter Nia and Monet, who was her teammate, and they have been friends for even back from middle school. Um, they ran with the school, but they participated in the club. And we had these matching shirts. I should have worn my shirt tonight. I should have worn it. And it's cut the check. And
Cut
people
the
would
check.
stop us, me and Miss Monique, and Monique was Monet's mom. And they would just stop us, cut the check. What is that? And we'd wear cut the check to all the track meets and everything. And they said, we looking for that scholarship, that scholarship check. But you did such a phenomenal job promoting the athletes. You were up at night, all kind of hours at night, creating videos, posting them on social media. You put those girls out there, and and in doing so, you have to the bottom line is you have to help other people first. You have to reach out and help other people first. And when you're helping other people, you can't help but reap the rewards and the benefits. And you did a phenomenal job, and
Thank
of course the girls landed well, and they're both doing their things.
you. Hmm.
So I want to say thank you, and I know Monique has thanked you a gazillion times, and Nia in her own way, she thanks you. Let's talk about, and then we're gonna wrap it up. But let's talk about that coach-athlete relationship, okay?
Hmm.
Because I think that is so important. Because there are times that there are days that my daughter comes home and she hated you.
Hmm.
She wanted to run you over with a car. She hated Coach Kenny, and that's a part of the process. That's just part of the process. But talk to me about, a parent's role in allowing coaches to be coaches. At what point do you step back, but then what point do you step in? That's a delicate dance.
It is, and I think that it depends on the person. It depends on the parent because
Mhm.
everybody is different. And I think, the biggest thing is communication and trust.
Mhm.
Uh, those are the most important things. So if there's open lines of communication and everybody is on the same page, they're going to be tough days. They're going to be, I can't stand Coach Kenny. I can't stand Coach X, Y, and Z. He gets on my nerves. She gets on my nerves. That's, that tough love is a part of it. But then
Yeah.
if everybody's on the same page, parents included, then like what the common goal is. So I think, for parents, for athletes, when looking for uh, that next level or that next coach or some guidance, you want to be upfront. These are my goals. This is what I'm trying to accomplish. And if this is what I'm trying to accomplish, you want somebody in your corner that, all right, this is what it takes. It's not going to be easy all the time, but this is what it takes to get to where you're trying to go. And so if you're really committed to this or, that, what you say you want to do, we got to do it.
Yeah.
We got to do it. And so I just think, for the parents, if this is something that, your kid or your child wants to do, it has to be tough love from the parent. Some days they need the nurturing, they need some coddling, and they need the
Mhm.
love. But then
Mhm.
other days, no, you
Suck it
got to
up.
tighten up. Yeah, you got to tighten up. So it's definitely a balance.
Yeah.
Um, and I think it's different for everybody, because
Mhm.
everybody is different. You can't coach everybody the same.
True.
So um, I think the communication part up front, will help a great
Mhm.
deal.
Absolutely, absolutely. I love it. I love it. The communication, and then, like you said, there are days that the athlete's gonna come home, and you could just be a listening ear. Like, okay, and then other days you're like, girl, suck it up and let's go.
Yeah,
No, you said you wanted to do this. You said you wanted to go to state. You said you wanted to go to the next level. So it is what it is. Well, Coach Kenny, I appreciate you. I thank you. I thank you for being a part of the show tonight. You shared so many jewels and such wisdom and experience. And I love you. I wish you the best in everything. But thank you so much for being on the show tonight.
thank you for having me. It's just a blessing, to have people in my life like yourself. And so I just thank you for all the support, throughout the years, for everything. And just thank you for, thinking of me to be on your show.
Absolutely. Who else are I going to bring?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Who else but Coach Kenny? Well, take care. I wish you well. Love you, and I'll be in touch.
Yes, ma'am. Love you too.